Ever feel like when you're trading, it's like your gut is saying one thing and your brain is saying something totally different.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're at war with yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you are not alone. That's why we're doing this deep dive into Trading for a Living by Alexander Elder.
Okay.
What I think is so cool about this book is it's not just your typical, technical trading book.
Right.
This guy, Elder, was actually a psychiatrist
Oh, wow.
before he became a trader.
Interesting.
So he brings this whole other perspective to the table,
Yeah, you don't see that very often. Someone who gets the analytical side and the human side.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's what makes this book so valuable for us as learners.
I'd agree.
It's like we're getting a peek inside the mind of a successful trader. Okay, so Elder, he quicks things off with this great story about driving across the U.S., right?
Mm-hmm.
With this copy of, Engel's How to Buy Stocks.
Yeah, how to buy stocks.
Glued to his hands, basically.
Yeah.
And you can just tell how excited he was, discovering trading for the first time. It's really cool. He even has this chapter. It's called Trading the Last Frontier.
Oh, I like that.
Which I thought was just brilliant.
It is.
It really captures that feeling of freedom, being your own boss.
Yeah.
That, I think, draws so many people to trading in the first place.
It's that human desire for autonomy. But, and here's the thing, that's also what makes it so dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when you combine that desire for freedom with the potential for, let's face it, huge financial rewards,
Oh, yeah.
it can be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Elder doesn't shy away from that at all.
No, he doesn't.
Right after that chapter on how alluring trading can be,
Right.
he hits you with this chapter called The Odds Against You.
He does not sugarcoat it.
No.
He does not sugarcoat the fact that trading is a tough business.
It is.
And he talks about how statistically it's actually harder to win
Really?
consistently in trading than in a game of chance.
Wow.
Think about it. Things like commissions and slippage,
Right.
these tiny little fees that eat away at your profits,
Yeah.
they stack the odds against you right from the start,
Yeah.
from the get-go. He calls it a minus-sum game,
Oh, wow.
which kind of paints a picture, doesn't it?
It does. It's a little bleak.
Yeah.
But I think that's why he spends so much time on the psychology of trading in this book.
I think you're right.
Because as he points out, so many people are drawn to trading for the wrong reasons.
It's true.
They're looking for that quick fix,
Yeah.
that way to get rich fast, right?
Right.
And they're just totally not prepared for the hard work
The grind.
and the self-discipline that it actually takes to succeed.
Yeah, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, that's for sure. It's more like he actually compares the trading industry to those ancient Egyptians who built the pyramids.
Oh, wow.
It needs a constant supply of new losers to keep feeding the system.
Wow.
Just like those pyramids needed a constant supply of new laborers.
That's a pretty intense comparison.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sobering thought.
It is a sobering thought.
But it makes you think about those chapters about the losers anonymous.
Yes.
It's almost like some people, are hardwired to lose,
It really seems that way sometimes.
even when they think they're playing to win.
Yeah, it's like there's a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Between their fantasies about trading and then the reality of it.
Right.
They might tell themselves, oh, yeah, I'm in it for the long haul.
Mhm.
I'm here to, play the long game. But deep down,
Yeah.
they're chasing that quick fix, that feeling of omnipotence that comes with a big win. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
It's like, he gives that example of the woman who wants to lose weight,
Okay.
but she can't stop herself from eating cake.
Ooh, I know that feeling.
We all have those internal conflicts, right?
All the time. Oh, man. That really makes you question your own motivations.
It does, doesn't it?
When I think about my own trading, am I being honest with myself about why I'm doing this?
Right.
Am I in it for the challenge, the
Yeah.
learning,
Mm-hmm.
or am I just chasing that dopamine rush
That's the question.
of a winning trade?
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves.
Yeah.
Because, as Elder says, the key to winning in trading
Yeah.
isn't about some secret formula
Right.
or magic indicator.
Yeah.
It's all about what's going on inside your head.
It's all in your head.
Yeah.
So we've been talking a lot about the psychology of the individual trader, right?
Yeah.
But Elder doesn't stop there.
No, he doesn't.
He takes it a step further and starts looking at how crowds influence the markets.
The whole shebang.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like, I love that story he tells about the early stock exchanges
Oh, yeah.
forming under a buttonwood tree.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Just goes to show, no matter how much technology changes things,
Yeah.
people are still people.
Totally.
We're still drawn to crowds.
Mhm.
We're still influenced by the opinions of others.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that has a huge impact on how markets move.
Absolutely. It's like, I don't know, we're all hardwired for that herd mentality, right?
Totally. We're hardwired to follow the crowd. And speaking of crowds,
Yeah.
that's where you see these so-called market gurus rise and fall, right?
Oh, totally. The gurus.
The gurus.
Yeah.
And Elder does not mince words about these gurus.
No, he doesn't.
He's basically saying, look, these guys, they're
Mhm.
masters of manipulating that crowd psychology,
Right.
taking advantage of people's fear and
Yeah.
greed.
Mm-hmm.
They promise these easy riches.
Oh, yeah. Easy money.
But in reality, they're often just inflating bubbles that are bound to burst.
Totally.
Yeah, he uses the tulip mania as like the classic example.
Oh, right, right. Back in the day.
You know, people were literally betting their life savings on tulip bulbs.
It sounds insane.
It sounds insane in hindsight,
Right.
but that's the thing.
Get caught up in it.
That's the power of mass psychology, right?
Totally.
And as learners, it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking there's some guru out there with all the answers.
Dude, I know.
Who's gonna like give you the secret?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's so important to develop your own critical thinking skills.
Okay. Your own process for evaluating information.
Right, right. So don't just follow blindly.
Exactly. Don't just drink the Kool-Aid. Think for yourself.
Exactly. And Elder actually has this, I don't know if you remember this from the book, but he has this really interesting theory
Oh, yeah.
about market cycles
Fill me in.
that I think ties into this perfectly.
Okay.
It's called the 3 steps in a stumble theory.
Oh, right, right, right. The 3 steps in a stumble.
I don't know if you want to like walk us through that a little.
Sure, sure. So it's actually pretty simple.
Okay.
Elder, he noticed this pattern, right?
Okay.
Markets tend to move in this pattern of like 3 steps forward,
Mhm.
1 step back.
Okay.
So you have that initial surge of excitement, right?
Right.
Prices start going up. Everybody jumps on board.
Yes.
FOMO. Exactly. That's the first step. And then usually there's this period of consolidation
Okay.
where the market kind of takes a breather.
Right.
That's step 2. Then you get another surge,
Uh-huh.
more people buying in, convinced that, you know, the trend is their friend, right?
Yep.
That's step 3. And then just when everyone thinks the good times will last forever,
Oh.
you get the stumble.
Oh no.
Right. A correction, a pullback, whatever you want to call it. It's basically the market's way of shaking out all the weak hands,
Oh, I like that.
all the people who bought in late
Okay. Yeah.
and are now panicking.
Right. Right. They get shaken out.
Exactly. They get shaken out.
I love that visual.
Yeah.
The weak hand.
Weak hands getting shaken out.
Okay, so understanding that cycle, you would think,
Okay.
would be so helpful, just in terms of, you know, keeping your cool
Absolutely.
when everyone else is losing their minds.
Exactly. When you see those headlines, market crash,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can take a step back and say, okay, wait a minute. Is this just the stumble?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we've talked a lot about psychology, but what about the actual, like, mechanics of trading?
Right, right.
What kind of tactical advice does Elder give in the book?
Well, one of the big ones, and I know you wanted to talk about this, is his triple screen trading system.
Yeah, that definitely caught my eye.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Can you break down for me what that's all about?
Yeah, so in a nutshell,
Okay.
it's a system designed to help traders find those high probability trades,
Okay.
the ones where the potential reward outweighs the risk.
So it's about managing risk.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It's not about, like, getting rich quick.
Right.
It's about being patient,
Okay.
waiting for, you know, to use that old cliche, waiting for all your dark to line up
Yeah, line up your box.
before you make a move.
Yeah.
And the triple screen system does this by using 3 different screens or time frames
Okay.
to confirm a trading signal.
So you're not just like jumping in.
Exactly. You're not just like, oh, I got a feeling.
Right.
You're taking a step back,
Yeah.
looking at the bigger picture before diving into a trade.
Gotcha. So it's a more like measured approach.
It's a more measured approach. It's about cutting through the noise of the market
Okay.
and focusing on the signals that really matter. So the first screen,
Yeah.
it's all about identifying the long-term trend.
Like, are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? Or are we just chopping sideways?
Right.
And for this, he's, mostly using traditional charting tools.
Okay.
Like, your basic candlestick charts, moving averages, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Then the second screen It zooms in a bit
Okay.
and looks for confirmation of that long-term trend, but in a shorter time frame.
So each screen is like adding another layer?
Exactly, another layer of confirmation.
Okay, I thought.
And for that screen, Elder often uses different technical indicators
Okay,
to get a sense of the market's momentum.
gotcha.
You know, things like MAMCD, RSI, things like that.
Okay,
And then the third screen, that's where you finally start looking for your entry and exit points.
so this is where you're like fine-tuning.
Exactly. This is where you're fine-tuning your timing,
Gotcha.
making sure you're getting into a trade at the optimal point and using an even shorter time frame for that.
So it's like zooming in, zooming in.
Exactly. Zooming in, zooming in.
To find the perfect entry point.
Precisely.
That's cool.
It's a really elegant system, I think.
Yeah, it sounds very, very structured.
It is structured. It combines, the technical analysis with that psychological awareness we were talking about.
Right. So it's bringing both sides together.
Exactly. Because you can have the best trading system in the world, but if your head's not screwed on,
Yeah, it's not going to matter.
it's not going to matter.
It's all going to fall apart.
Exactly. You're going to self-sabotage.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I have to say, as someone who's always trying to avoid information overload,
Mhm.
I love that he's providing this kind of like structured
Yeah.
approach to decision making.
It's a framework.
Yeah.
It's a framework for making decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not just about trading.
Right. It could apply to anything, really.
It could apply to anything, making decisions in your life, your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. It's about like having a process, right?
It's about having a process.
And sticking to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does sound like a really, really powerful framework.
It is.
We're cutting through all the noise out there
Mm-hmm.
and trying to make more rational decisions, especially when it comes to trading.
That's really the core of what he's trying to teach, right?
Yeah.
It's not about finding that magic formula that's going to guarantee your riches.
No magic bullet.
No silver bullet here. It's about developing a system,
Okay.
a process
Yeah.
that helps you manage risk and make smarter decisions
Yeah.
in the long term.
It's about the long game,
Exactly.
not the short game.
It's about, not getting caught up in the hype,
Right. Right.
the fear and the greed of the market.
Yeah, because that's what gets you in trouble.
That's what gets you in trouble.
When you start letting your emotions make your decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is discipline,
Discipline.
patience,
Patience.
having a plan, sticking to it.
Yeah, having a plan, sticking to it.
And isn't that really the key to success in so many areas of life?
Absolutely. And that's what makes, I think, this deep dive so valuable. Because even if, you're listening to this and you're not a trader,
Yeah.
even if you're just someone who's like, okay, I just want to understand how markets work
Right, right.
or how my own brain works sometimes,
Solely.
there's so many lessons here
Oh, yeah,
that you can apply to, honestly, any part of your life.
totally. I couldn't agree more.
It's all connected.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So to kind of like bring things to a close here,
Okay.
what would you say if you had to pick like the one biggest takeaway
Yeah.
from trading for a living?
The one big thing I want you to walk away with from this deep dive,
Yeah.
it's that the key to success in trading, in life, it's not about being able to predict the future.
Okay.
It's about managing risk, making smart decisions when you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Because none of us have a crystal ball.
We don't.
And that all starts with understanding yourself,
Okay.
understanding your own motivations,
Mhm.
understanding your own kind of like psychological quirks.
Like where you might trip yourself up.
Exactly. And once you've kind of mastered that inner game,
Right.
you're well on your way to achieving your goals,
I love it.
whatever they may be.
That's such a powerful, powerful reminder and a perfect note to end on. Thanks so much for taking this deep dive with me.
My pleasure. Always happy to geek out on trading psychology.
It's been eye-opening, I got to say.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, a lot to think about, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Until next time.